everyone, ArmorX20 here with my predictions for the TLC. I got my special guest here, Dylan. We're going to give you our predictions, talk a little wrestling, and see where it goes from there. We'll start with the first match that comes up on the list, The New Day versus Goldust and Stardust, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the pre-show match. What are your predictions for this match, Dylan?
Well, first of all, let me say I love the New Day gimmick. It's one of the more entertaining repackaging of superstars that I've seen in a while.
I think it's a little racist how they showed him up on Black Friday, made him debut.
I mean, the whole thing is obviously race based, because they have the whole the Black Choir singing, that whole thing. But I mean, the fact that they agreed to go along with it, I guess, shows that it's not really that bad of an idea. But I like it. I really do. It's very entertaining. I find myself sitting on my couch on Monday nights going, do it for the day. I ain't gonna do it. But what I would like to happen in that match is for Golden Stardust to win. But my prediction is the New Day.
It's one of those matches that whoever's going to win, it's hard to pick.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of those matches. No matter who wins, you're going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I like the New Day.
I love the New Day, but
and I love Golden Stardust.
I love Cody Rhodes repackaged as Stardust. I freaked out hard when they debuted Cody Rhodes as Stardust, because I know Goldust has always been one of my favorites ever since the first time I saw him. And I know he's getting up there in age. He's on his way out. This is probably going to be his last run. Once he's done here, he's probably going to retire from at least the WWE. He'll probably still stay on the indie circuit doing special appearances and stuff. But I always like it when gimmicks are given a freshening up and continue through the vessel of somebody else. And the simple fact that Goldust's brother Cody decided to take on and sort of carry on his gimmick into the future, I'm proud of Cody. I'm honestly proud of Cody. Goldust and Stardust are one of my favorite tag teams right now, because Cody Rhodes has always been talented since day one. Goldust is looking better than he ever has, period. And that says a lot for a guy who's had multiple runs with the company. And his age is getting to be a factor, and he just looks better than ever. I would love Golden Stardust to win that match, but sadly, if WWE booking is as predictable as it is, it's going to be the New Day.
Yeah, I'll have to go with you on that one, New Day. Speaking to this, WWE, we were just listening to the Austin and Vince McMahon podcast, and he said he wants to give the fans what they want. Well, I'm pretty sure no fan wants to see this match that we're coming up to next, because it's so overused, it's boring. Rusev versus Swagger. When they brought Swagger back out to feud with Rusev again, I was just like, not again. Because I don't want to see this.
What they should have done in the first place was give Jack Swagger a reason other than fighting for America, per se, to fight Rusev. Now, you see, the mistake that they made here was they had Rusev beat Swagger, and then they had Rusev go on to continue beating larger, more difficult guys. The Big Show, Mark Henry. I would have loved to have seen Ryback take a shot, but it's not obviously not going to happen.
Brock Lesnar face turn,
and now they're gonna bring Jack Swagger back into the picture, and hopefully this time now see the difference between last time and this time.
He's fighting also for Zeb.
This time he's fighting for Zeb Coulter, and the United States Championship is also involved. Now, as much as I would hate to see Rusev finally take a defeat, because I love Rusev, I love the gimmick. And he's honestly, for a big guy much like myself, he's he's an inspiration because he's talented. He can move his weight very swiftly. He's in amazing control of his body. Very athletic for a big bulky guy. And not to mention he's carting around with Lana, which that's
oh my gosh,
damn, that's a plus.
I mean,
but as much as I would hate Rusev to lose, I really think the United States Championship needs to start moving around more.
Yeah.
Dean held it for almost a year, and while Dean Ambrose is like my favorite wrestler of all time, like it needed to move.
Yeah.
I can understand Sheamus as an interim champion because he's somebody that's big and tough, but not big and tough enough to beat Rusev, and that was a good move on their part. But we can't have the United States Championship staying stagnant on one man for 9-10 months at a time. And I think it would be a good move for them to allow Jack Swagger to be the first one to beat Rusev, but only because the championship's on the line.
Maybe bring him out of that jobber role and into a little bit more of a stardom role.
And Jack Swagger's an extremely talented wrestler. Mm-hmm. I would love to see him brought out of the jobber role, and the perfect way to do that, he's already getting a decent push as a face, but he's losing a lot. He's jobbing. But a good way to send a ladder down into the pit he's in, so to speak, is to put a strap on him. And seeing as how the Intercontinental title is held up with some of the really good mid-card talent, which should be top-card talent, but it's a perfect way to start getting Swagger towards the top, because he's already been world heavyweight champion 2 times. And he's gonna, or once. Was it once? Just the one time?
I got a computer here. We can look it up.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But I would love to see Jack start climbing the ladder back out, especially because he's sort of like their
he was the ECW champion.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what
one-time ECW champion, one-time World Heavyweight, one-time United States, 2010 Money in the Bank, and then 2010 Bragging Rights Trophy with Team SmackDown. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to see them pull Jack out of the pit, and because once guys like Orton and Cena start to make their way out, Jack Swagger's going to be one of the top guys. He reminds me a lot, and I think it's because they're booking him as such, but he reminds me a lot of Kurt Angle. And the difference is where Kurt Angle showed up, and because of his Olympic status and all that, he was debuted right into the top card.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is in the WWE nowadays, it's always top card versus top card, mid card versus mid card, or mid card or top card jobbing bottom card. You never see a mid card versus a top card for something special anymore. It's always like, especially like I miss the days where the top card guy would come out and have like a grade A match with a mid card dude, like on Raw or something, like back in the day when they would have like when Kane was still relevant. They would have him not necessarily job, but have a decent 10-minute match with a mid card guy, but win because he was top card, and I miss that. That all came off of Jack Swagger. Talking about Jack Swagger.
We got one from Jack Swagger to Kane, which will be bring back Kane. And I will talk more about him later. So what is your prediction for this match?
Honestly, with the way it's been built, I would like Rusev to retain one more time, but I think Swagger's got it this time. And I'll be honestly surprised if with WWE writers if Rusev wins.
I'm going to disagree with you this time. I think Rusev's going to win again, push it to the Rumble, and maybe we'll see something really nice at the Rumble. Who knows? Well, I really wish they would have gave Kurt Angle like the part-time contract.
Nice, but
I'd like to see him every once in a while. I'm not maybe after Rusev got his losing streak and he kept going after America, then bring Angle out after him.
But Angle's too heavily involved with TNA. I don't think Angle's ever going to come back to WWE because he's on his way out.
Yeah,
he's on his way out, and he's got
his body.
He actually has a legitimate executive position with TNA, and he makes a pretty decent paycheck. So I don't think he's coming back anytime soon.
I understand they did it. LCW, the local indie place around here, they had him as their special guest in November. And I was really hoping they played his WWE theme because I just wanted to shout, "You suck," at him.
Yeah.
Of course, they played his TNA theme, which is understandable because he was with TNA.
Now,
we tried to get our own "You suck" chanting started, and it didn't work.
Now, without a question, he'll definitely be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Hey, he was a very great wrestler.
He's already in the TNA Hall of Fame, and just simply because of his status, he's definitely going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, so maybe then we'll get one last Angle "You suck" chant when he when they induct him.
Yeah.
And that's that when he came back after his first neck injury, that puts a smile on his face. He's the only dude besides maybe John Cena that'll smile when you tell him he sucks.
Alright, so there's that prediction. I guess we'll go on to next the Tag Team Championship match with Miz and Mizdow versus the Usos with Naomi.
Now,
I really don't want to see the Usos win this one. Don't get me wrong, they're good wrestlers, but give the Tag Team Champions to someone new.
For now, the Usos have only, if you remember, they deserve that Tag Team of the Year award. They're probably as an established tag team that those guys entered the world of professional wrestling with the intention to become a tag team and not just a couple of singles guys thrown together in a tag team. Mm-hmm. They're one of the best tag teams in the business. If TNA and WWE, God forbid, ever did a crossover show, the number one match I want to see is the Wolves versus the Usos. Not
ladder match.
No, not even just
a regular match.
A straight up tag team match, possibly best out of 3 falls, just so we get a little more. But yeah, the Usos are definitely one of the best teams in the business. Golden Stardust do pretty well, but the Usos top them. They really do. Now, as much as I like the Usos, I don't want them to win this match either. Not because I like Miz and Mizdow, but just because I like Damian Sandow. I hate the Miz. I can't stand him.
I think everyone does.
I can't stand him as a wrestler. Now, I think a better position for him would be on the commentary team, because whenever he goes out there and sits with them guys in the booth, he's hilarious. And he's a really good color commentator. When he's a few months ago, I think it was about a year ago though now, they were adding him to the commentary team on Main Event. And he's just a really good commentator. And not so much of a wrestler. Now, I mean, I don't have a lot of room to talk because I'm just a beginner, so to say, myself. But as compared to the other guys on the roster and the other guys on television and in the indie circuit, Miz isn't really that great. Miz is all gimmick. Like, he's got a few really cool moves, like the clothesline in the corner where he slings his legs through the rope, but that's really the only thing that comes to mind when I think of what he's got in his arsenal there. He bores me. The Miz bores me. Now, Damian Sandow, on the other hand,
The skull crushing finale. I don't know why I hate that.
Because it's you would imagine when you see it done, it's a pretty easy move to counter, and it's just not believable. It's not believable at all.
And the figure 4.
That's what pisses me off the most is the fact that they've bestowed Miz with like the most legendary submission move other than the sharpshooter in the history of professional wrestling. Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock, and he's number one. He barely ever uses it. The last time we saw it used, it was Damian Sandow putting it on like what was it, like Heath Slater or some shit.
I don't remember,
but
I know the last time I saw Miz use it was against Los Matadores.
that was it.
And I think Mizdow did it too sometime in the match, but I'm not sure.
But it wasn't. I don't think it was a good move to give Miz the figure 4 because I don't think he has enough crowd behind him, or honestly the ability to be a top star again, and that's really a move that should be bestowed to somebody who can properly carry the legacy. Now, one of the reasons why I think he's starting to use it less is because they're about to move Charlotte up. And there we go. We got a Flair on the roster carrying on with the move. But where does that leave Miz?
I was going to say, if you wouldn't give him the figure 4, what submission would you give him?
I wouldn't give him a submission at all.
You wouldn't?
No, Miz is definitely not a submission wrestler. He's not much of a mat wrestler, period. I think the skull-crushing finale is suitable for him, but once again, it's not a very believable move.
I'll tell you a not very believable move, and this is going to fall into what I've really been talking. Besides the matches, the freaking Superman punch. I hate it.
As cool as it looks, and as fun as it is to do, no, it's not believable at all.
You're just like,
because who's going to stand there and watch a guy get 3 or 4 solid seconds of hang time coming at you with a closed fist and not move?
Yeah.
Like, come on. It's just not realistic.
I didn't even watch most of the Slammies. But first one I was mad about is Dean and Rollins falling off the cage in Hell in a Cell wasn't even part of the extreme moment of the year.
I know.
I'm just like, why? That would have easily won. How extreme was that?
Number one, Dean and Seth at Hell in a Cell should have been match of the year. Mm-hmm. Now you see this. The thing about the match of the year in the Slammies that comes up every year, it's the nominees that you can choose are never anything but top card main events. Yeah. And honestly, out of the choices that we had this year,
Jericho was suiting, I think, for that.
For extreme moment,
yeah.
No.
Out of the possible choices.
Now, how many times in history have we seen somebody get their head put through cinder blocks?
I mean, that's
0.
Too.
This is the first time it's ever happened. It should have won. It should have won because nobody's ever seen it happen before. It was fresh, it was new, and it was hardcore.
Yeah.
It was that is true, like harken back to ECW hardcore. And Dean, being a guy as John Moxley coming from CZW, one of the most notoriously hardcore indie feds there is out there, that should have won Extreme Moment of the Year, hands down. And Match of the Year should have been, out of the choices that we had, should have been Cena versus Wyatt Last Man Standing.
I don't even remember that match. Oh, that's when he put him in...
Yeah,
oh,
even though the outcome was complete and total BS,
yeah.
It was a good match. It had me captivated. That's what a good match is
supposed
to do.
Don't get me wrong. Team Cena versus Team Authority was great, but the thing that made it probably win is probably because
the
thing
that made it win was A, Sting, and B, the fact that Ziggler was the lone survivor.
Yes. I would actually have thought
if Dolph Ziggler does not win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship by WrestleMania 32, then there's something seriously wrong with the people writing for this company.
Because everyone loves Ziggler.
Dude, he's he took Daniel Bryan's spot. I'm sorry, D-Bry, you're done, dude. Like, you've got to come back and start all over.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you still... They even killed what was left of the Yes Movement by turning Brie Bella heel. They killed what was left, what was had a little bit of a kindling in the fire of the Yes Movement, and which was getting on my nerves to begin with, because while Daniel Bryan is an extremely talented wrestler, that's all he is. He doesn't have a gimmick. He's just an extremely talented wrestler. If you could say Ultimate Underdog is his gimmick, but after WrestleMania 30, he's not an underdog anymore. He's like a small bearded version of John Cena, unless it's at a pay-per-view, unless it's at a pay-per-view where he can be the victim of well, there is no authority anymore, but where he can be the victim of a screw job, you know he's gonna win. If he has a match on Raw or SmackDown, you know he's gonna win because it's Daniel Bryan, and that's the boring part.
Turn Cena heel and make him face
Now
Daniel Bryan.
Now, Dolph Ziggler has stepped up and filled the role as the person that the crowd wants to see go to the top.
Yeah.
The sooner they realize that, the better. What they did with Daniel Bryan was a money grab, plain and simple. They knew eventually they were going to put Daniel Bryan on top, but they made it last as long as possible because they realized as soon as you make Daniel Bryan champion, as soon as the Yes Movement has achieved its goal, there goes all the merch sales.
Yeah.
There goes the entire crowd going, yes, 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 because it's over. They got what they wanted, and they're on to the next thing. Pardon me for sounding extremely heel here, but the WWE fans are fickle, especially the young ones. Once they see what they want to happen, they want the next thing to happen. And the next thing is Dolph Ziggler. If Dolph Ziggler doesn't win the ladder match tonight, there better be a higher purpose for that instead of just relegating Dolph back to a mid-card spot, because he's been in for how many years now? What is it, going on like 4 or 5?
Oh, we got a
Spirit Squad.
I was gonna say, if we're talking just Dolph, I don't know. Spirit Squad, it's been a little while.
Well, Dolph was part of the Spirit Squad.
I know.
So he's been with the company
for a while.
For anywhere between 4 to 6 years, I forget. But he works his ass off. He really does. He deserves to have that top spot.
Yeah. And also, another thing I was really, really pissed about. Superstar of the Year, Roman Reigns. I'm looking at this list.
That's a work.
As much as I hate Lesnar, he's a more suitable person. He didn't show up much because of his contract, but he's a more suitable person than Reigns.
Now you see, here's...
Ambrose, I think, would be better. I hate John Cena, but he would have been better than Reigns.
Now you see, that's our opinion, but I wrote something about this on Facebook.
But what I was thinking is maybe...
by the way...
Didn't Reigns also break
let me get a cheap plug in here.
Oh,
me and a friend of mine run a Facebook page called Devoted Pro Wrestling Fanatics. Go ahead, give it a like. Lots of conversation like this going on the page.
I'll drop a link in whatever it's called below.
Definitely, and if you're into this, and there's also going to be a Twitter that goes along with it. Right now, it's at DPWF Official. But come the time later this month when I get a new phone, I'm just going to get in. I'm going to shut down that account and repackage it and bring it back as something else. But it's basically going to be the same thing. And if you like the DPWF page on Facebook, you'll get all the information about the new Twitter, where to follow it, what's up. But here's what I wrote about Roman Reigns winning Superstar of the Year. Everybody says it was rigged. I don't think it was rigged.
You think people actually voted Reigns?
I think people actually voted for Reigns, but here's the point. It's all about demographic. Roman Reigns has a way bigger demographic than guys like Dean, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, because here's Roman Reigns' demographic. Teenage girls, they're in love with him.
Yeah.
And there's a billion of them, right?
Yes.
little kids that still think wrestling is real, which with the push that Roman Reigns got, they would believe that he's the best and should rightfully deserve the Slammy. Now, just those two combined, let alone all the moms that are in love with him and everything else that he's just got a huge demographic that will vote for him just because he has the star power. Whereas guys like Roman Reigns, or not, wow.
Yeah.
Whereas
Botch.
whereas guys like Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, what's their demographic? A bunch of us IWC and a bunch of smarks, right?
I think,
which is a way smaller demographic than Roman Reigns is. I do think Roman Reigns is talented, but I don't think he deserves Superstar of the Year. I think with a combination of gimmick, talent, and just overall charisma as the character that they play, for me it would be a tie between Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt for Superstar of the Year. I'm a huge mark for Dean Ambrose, but he's not there yet.
Mm.
He was amazing in NXT. He was amazing on the indie circuit as Jon Moxley, but the indie circuit is a completely different style. There's a lot of stuff that he did as Jon Moxley that with the PG mindset of WWE, he's just not allowed to do, and it really dumbs down his character, even though he kept as much of it as he possibly could. The whole Lunatic Fringe thing,
that is amazing.
For those of you who've never seen Dean work indies as Jon Moxley, this Lunatic Fringe thing is WWE's version of Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley is my favorite wrestler of all time. He's relatable to people on a level that, like, yeah, sure, he's got his demons, but he fights through them. And like this packaging, this non-Shield packaging of Dean Ambrose, the Lunatic Fringe, this is Jon Moxley, written by WWE. And I love it. But he's not at the level of star power for me that Rollins and Wyatt are. Now, sure, he's got a decent fan base, but unfortunately, like Roman Reigns, it's a bunch of little girls that are in love with him. And guys like me who have seen what he can actually do before he came to WWE, IWC and Smarks and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just, he's got a decent fan base, but it's significantly smaller than Roman Reigns. That's why Roman Reigns won this award.
I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. He's a great wrestler, but I don't think... Like I said, I think there's a couple more people more deserving on that list than Reigns.
Yeah, but he won this award because of his fan base and because of the way they pushed him. They sort of pushed him to the award.
But, yeah. As much as I hate Seth Rollins, yeah, he would be deserving of the award. But this ain't a shit.
Seth Rollins cleaned house in the Slammies this year. And he got a butt ton of them. And he even came out and took stings, which, go figure, I mean, that's as heel as it gets right there. Now that one right there,
Diva of the Year.
AJ Lee, as far as I'm concerned,
Paige. I would have wished Paige would have won it.
No. Everybody likes to ride Paige, and I don't know what the big deal is. I think it's because like she's just different than all the other divas.
I just like Paige.
In the way that she looks. She was amazing in NXT, but as soon as they brought her up to the main roster, it just went downhill. All of the talent that she displayed in NXT doesn't get used because she's on the main roster with the rest of the literal divas. And she was always billed as the anti-diva and redefining what a diva is.
The anti-diva.
Honestly, she's just joined in with the rest of them. She's going to be on Total Divas now. And it's like, I'm just disappointed in Paige. I'm disappointed in Paige. I loved her in NXT. They called her up. I don't think immediately giving her the Divas Championship was a good idea.
Yeah.
I think they should have had her fight for it a little bit more and really display what she can do. and she probably wouldn't be in the position she is now. But I'm just disappointed with what they've done with Paige. AJ Lee deserves that award, and I can guarantee the reason she won that award is a bunch of Punk fans voting for her. But I mean, on the other hand, she does deserve it because she's the most talented diva on that roster. Here's another thing. I don't consider AJ Lee a diva. She's not a diva. She is a women's wrestler.
I really wish they brought that back. Like, have a Divas champion, women's champion.
Like, and the fact of the matter that as a child she was a huge fan of Lita, and now she's the closest thing that the world has to Lita.
And apparently there is a reliable source this time saying she might leave after TLC. Odds are I'm saying it's not going to happen because it's been around so long that she's going to leave.
Everybody wants her to leave because they feel like that would be sticking it to Vince, and it's not Vince's fault. Like, as much as I hate to say it, Punk's a stubborn, thick-headed quitter. Like, he's like, yeah, go take a couple of months off, let yourself heal, but then come back. The fans love you. As disenchanted as you have become with the business, you chose to do this as your lifestyle. And now he's signed with UFC, which it's all over the internet how his first fight in UFC is going to be against Jason David Frank, which is Tommy Oliver, the original Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And, like, as much as I would love to see that fight, that's really the only fight that I'd want to see. I still won't watch UFC just because CM Punk's involved, because he's honestly not an experienced MMA fighter. He's going to get his ass kicked every time.
Maybe he's been training with Brock Lesnar.
I highly doubt that.
I'm kidding.
I don't know. CM Punk is more of a discussion left for another time, because I could go an hour on CM Punk.
I mean, we're already at half an hour just without even going through two matches.
All right, well, let's go through the rest of the match card.
I'm looking. But the one thing about Paige, before we go any farther, she's young still, so she does have.
I'm older than Paige.
Yeah. So she can still regain what she had.
I think that's what gives her some of her fan base too, is that it would be completely plausible for guys my age to go have a fantasy date with Paige, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, OMG shocking moment, that completely deserves it, because no one thought The Undertaker was going to lose.
Yeah. Out of all the where is that at? Oh, there it is. Yeah. I mean, we kind of...
Nikki Bella, what the heck is that even doing on there?
We all kind of saw Seth Rollins turning on the Shield coming. We saw somebody turning on the Shield coming. Everybody thought it was going to be Roman Reigns. So I guess that was kind of what was shocking about it. But, I mean, we all saw it coming. Bray Wyatt's choir, as cool as that was,
it's not really a
shocking. It wasn't really a shocker, because it was a really slow process. Like, what was it? Like, 30, 40 kids got to walk down the ramp. Like, about 2 seconds in, you're like, oh, I see what's going on here. It wasn't really very shocking.
It'd be more like a cool moment of war.
Yeah, it was just awesome to watch.
The
two real contenders on here was Brock beating the streak and Nikki turning on Brie, because, I mean, I didn't see coming. I was surprised by it, but just by default, because of how significant in the history of the company it is, the streak ending has to win. It has to win. I mean, and that's such a monumental moment, because now we can finally have all, like, the fantasy matchups without the cloud of the streak hanging over The Undertaker. I mean, even though he only works WrestleMania now, and he's only got a couple left in him, this year it's looking like it's going to be Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker, which is a great way for Undertaker to pass the creepy, daunting character torch to Bray Wyatt, which is the direction they're headed with his writing anyway. And then the coup de grace, the piece de resistance, the piece of la resistance, if anybody remembers them, at WrestleMania 32 would be Sting versus The Undertaker for both of them to retire in the same match. Because I really, at Sting's age, and as much as we know about his character, I can't see him doing more than a year in WWE. I really can't. Just to get it out of everybody's systems, you know? But that's where I feel like they're going with Undertaker. If he's got one left in him. I wouldn't want to do too many more if I was him either. I mean, I would want to sit back and just, you know, roll in the dough that I busted my ass for all those years, you know? But yeah, that definitely deserved that award. Alright. Back to the match cards.
Yeah, I was just looking through here.
Back to the match card.
All right, here's one good. Tweet it. Who has the best Twitter handle? Heel Ziggler.
Oh, heel Ziggler.
I like John Cena.
At John Cena.
What? Heel Ziggler. All right, back to the match card. We'll talk next about the Ryback and Kane match, the chair match.
Here we go. This is probably going to be the least entertaining match on the card. Honestly, because chairs, how much can you really do with chairs? I mean, well, I do a lot with chairs.
I was gonna say Ryback could shell shock chain off Kane.
But I mean, this is Kane we're talking about. This is another guy that, like, as committed as he is, he's on his way out. He's really not as mobile as he used to be. The corporate Kane thing kind of completely ruined whatever character he had left. Yeah. He's definitely on his way out. This is a great way for Ryback to start taking some of the spotlight. I would love Ryback to win this match. Now, I'm a huge Kane fan. I've always have been, but he just doesn't do it for me anymore.
I think it's mostly the corporate Kane is what... As much as I'm a fan of Kane, the corporate Kane really tore me off of him.
When Kane was doing his short little feud after WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan, we kind of got it out of our systems to see the old Kane back for a little while. I mean, coming up from out of the depths of hell out of the ring and trying to drag Brie Bella underneath of the ring, tombstoning Daniel Bryan 5-6 times on hard objects, like the monster Kane.
Yeah.
It was fun to see for a little while, but I think that was it. I don't think we're gonna see that Kane again unless he goes back to that for a little while right before he retires.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you think maybe they take Kane back to what he once was right before he retires? Start him and end him the same way? Or do you think he ends as corporate Kane?
Oh no, he's definitely gonna end as a monster Kane. I don't. You see, because Glenn Jacobs, the man, he's extremely humble. He likes to give the fans what they want to see. And I think that's why that whole thing with Daniel Bryan happened, bringing the old Kane back for a bit, because that's the Kane that competes for world titles.
Yeah.
Not the current Kane who is basically there to put people over. Ryback's going to win this match.
Yeah.
And I want Ryback to win, and he's gonna win. That's my prediction.
And it's weird because like Glenn Jacobs and Kane,
two completely different people.
It's like they're sort of like Kane is like his alter ego type thing.
Yeah. Like you would imagine that he would be at least a little bit creepy in real life. Not
he's like he's big into
bit.
Politics and he loves animals.
Yeah, not in the least bit. He like. At the risk of ruining what little credibility he has left, I've met him before. He's a big softy. He's a really nice guy, and he doesn't brag at all.
That's one thing I like. The guys who are big stars but are very humble to their fans.
I like guys like that. That's why I think Dolph Ziggler is. I can't stop talking about Dolph.
Yeah.
He comes up in.
Don't worry. He's coming up later.
He comes up in every instance, and it's because he should be the star. There's no doubt in my mind that that Dolph Ziggler should be world champion by this time next year.
I'm definitely agreeing with you. I think Ryback. Like I said, I really wish Kane needs to go back to the devil's favorite demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go with Eric Rowan and the Big Show Steel Stairs match. And like I said yesterday, Rowan.
This is the first time we've ever seen the steel stairs brought in as the designated weapon in a match. I'm excited to see what this is all about. Because you know how when they set up Money in the Bank, there's all different sizes of ladders, and there's ladders everywhere. I'm waiting to see how they set this up, whether or not there's going to be like mega huge sets of stairs that it would actually be difficult for the Big Show to lift or something like that. I would love to see Eric Rowan go over because I love his new gimmick. He's sort of like an idiot savant.
Even though he walks like the Great Khali.
Most big guys do. But his idiot savant gimmick, like he's got the mind of a child, but he can solve a Rubik's Cube in like seconds. I really like that. That's
like he grew up physically, but didn't grow up mentally. Kinda.
Yeah, that's something that I really haven't seen in the WWE before. And when the Wyatt family split up, I honestly feared for Eric Rowan because he didn't really get that big of a pop in the Wyatt family. But
now
they have done him well. They have done well by Eric Rowan, and I want to see him go over in this match. But for the simple fact that Big Show just turned heel and they need to drive that point home, I think Big Show's going to win tonight.
I'm going to take a shot out on a limb here. This one's going to end in a I can't think of it. Stalemate.
No contest?
Yes. Both go down for a 10 count. Or is there no 10 counts in this? There's 10 counts, isn't there?
No, it's just a match with steel stairs.
Okay,
all the rules remain the same.
Except for DQ.
Yeah.
Alright, so I think they both go down for a 10 count. And maybe a stalemate.
That's a prediction I didn't think about.
Because, who do you think is going to make it longer, Rowan or Harper? Or do you think they might last each other?
I think it'll get to the point where they actually have a rivalry with each other. The fact that as soon as Harper split from the Wyatt family and immediately picks up the IC title, as much as I'm glad that they gave him a strap, I think it was a little too early. I think they should have had him sort of terrorize the card a bit as a heel character before he decides to go for the gold, But I mean, now Luke Harper, otherwise known from the Indies as Big Rig Brody Lee, extremely talented guy, and definitely deserves a belt, but I think they just didn't wait long enough after the Wyatt family split. He was going to get it one way or another. He deserved to get it one way or another. But number one, from Dolph, as amazing as this match is going to be tonight. Now, I haven't seen a one-on-one ladder match with just a single belt hanging above the ring for a long time. And if anybody's going to pull this off, it's Dolph and Harper. And
that was a nice segue.
I think this match is between, for stealing the show, it's between Harper and Dolph and Ambrose and Wyatt. And I think it's going to be Harper and Dolph because this is going to be a straight-up match because it's for the title. Ambrose and Wyatt is going to break down into chaos, and it's probably... There's going to be some parts of it that don't look good. I've never seen Luke Harper in a ladder match before. Dolph Ziggler, he sells Money in the Bank when he's in one of the matches. So I know Dolph can work a ladder match, and that's just going to be... This is going to be the match that steals the show.
Yeah.
Such as, that's what Dolph does.
That was a nice segue into that match without even trying. What do you think about Rowan and Harper? And then right into the match.
Yeah.
See how I did that? Anyway, I actually think I think Ziggler's going to win.
Yeah, Ziggler is going to win. If Dolph Ziggler doesn't win tonight, there better be a good reason for him not winning. That's all I'm saying. As much as I like seeing Luke Harper with the title, it was too early. He can have it back later. Like, Dolph needs this push. He needs this title.
And what about that bot? I don't know if you saw it on the one, not this past Raw, the Raw before, where Big Show hit Rowan with the stairs, dropped him, and then they landed on his head.
Yeah.
You saw that botch?
There might be a couple stiff shots for us to enjoy in the match tonight.
But, yeah. I guess we'll have to go with the Divas match next. So you don't think the Divas match is not going to be the worst match of the night? You think it's going to be Ryback versus Kane?
Yeah.
So you're saying the Ryback versus Kane match is a bathroom break match?
Honestly, yeah. To be... I may have to put the tag team championship match as my bathroom break tonight, if I need one. But for the first time in a long time, the Divas match is not going to be my bathroom break tonight. Because, of course, we got Diva of the Year, AJ Lee, the most talented diva on the roster until they start moving up NXT talent. But she's definitely going to ring general the match. But the simple fact that Nikki Bella has been getting way better. Nikki Bella versus Alicia Fox this past Friday night on SmackDown, I was thoroughly surprised. That was a good match. It only lasted about 7 or 8 minutes, but it was a solid match. The flow was great. Everything was executed properly. There wasn't any bad bumps or nothing looked weak. It looked like, and that's because Alicia Fox is extremely talented. Nikki Bella's getting better. I honestly think Nikki Bella's going to leave Brie Bella in the dust when it comes to the two Bella twins. But what I want to see happen in this match is AJ Lee win, just so that we can get the most talented diva defending the title. But I think with the way things have been going lately, I think in some way, shape, or form, Brie is going to cost AJ the match, and Nikki's going to win.
I'm sure she's going to interfere.
Yeah, she's going to interfere.
There's your bug. You shoot it.
Excuse me, folks.
We got a little gun that has a fly swatter type thing on the end of it, and you can shoot it at bugs while he's going to shoot a stink bug. You missed!
I missed.
You missed!
I'm terrible.
Oh my goodness. Botch. Okay, just give up. Just give up.
Alright, I got it.
One more shot.
Okay.
Botch. There, let me see it.
No.
Let me try once.
You're wasting time. Put the headphones on.
They don't even need to be on. I just had them on. Okay, so we're actually down to the last match. No, we haven't talked about Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose.
No, we haven't.
I forgot about that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, folks. That was my mom interrupting. Ow! I really can't wait for this Ambrose Wyatt match.
No, really, when they booked the first Ambrose Wyatt match and it was just like a regular match, I was like, this isn't enough. It's too soon. It's not enough. I love the fact that they actually, the two guys that are the most willing to take the biggest beating are the guys that are in the TLC match at TLC. This is... Now, in my opinion, I know we still have to talk about Cena versus Rollins, and just because it's John Cena, that's going to be the main event probably. But if it's TLC, the TLC match should be the main event. And you have Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, who should be the main event.
Yeah.
Like, this is my main event for the night. It's not going to be the match that steals the show, but it would be a good match to close the show with. The way they've built this feud is great. And I think Dean and Bray are going to execute this match very well. For a one-on-one tables, ladders, chairs match, this is going to be good. Was it Cena and Orton last year?
I don't know. 'Cause remember, I got back into it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think it was Cena and Orton last year.
No, like I said, I got the internet right here.
No, it was.
You can look here. It's right there. Yeah.
Yep.
That's when they unified the two titles.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be way better than last year because you got now Cena and Orton did okay for a TLC match, but those two guys aren't particularly partial to weapons, like using chairs, going through tables and stuff. This time around, it's Dean Ambrose, who you could pop this guy in the head with like anything and he would keep going. Like I said, he did Indies and CZW, which is like one of the most notoriously hardcore feds out there. And then Bray Wyatt, who he doesn't shy away from using the weapons either. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen Bray work in the Indies. I don't think he did. I think he had to have, but
oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh, be thankful you can't see this.
Yeah. But I never saw Bray work in the Indies, but I think that he hasn't shied away from taking weapons hits and giving weapons hits so far in his WWE career. So this is going to be a brutal match. We're going to see a lot of classic Jon Moxley in this match. We're going to see a lot of good Bray in this match, and it's.
Does Dean come out to the ring with a kendo stick again?
I have a feeling that there's going to be more than just tables, ladders, and chairs.
Brass knuckles, kendo stick.
I have a feeling that Dean is at least going to drag out a kendo stick, if not some more. This match in particular, if it doesn't happen between Harper and Ziggler, this match in particular, bye-bye Spanish announce table. Definitely. If not both announce tables. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I really can't. And it's a matter of hours, and I'm excited.
And of course, we got the last one. So oh wait, we forgot to say who you're predicting for this one. Or do you think that one comes to no contest? Because that would actually be a good one to throw it as a no contest because of how brutal it could be.
That would be a very good match to end in a no contest, but I don't think it's going to end that way. I honestly think
That's a hard decision.
The more I think about it, Bray versus Dean, this is an unpredictable outcome. So I'm just gonna say what I would like to happen is I would like for Dean to finally go over. He kept getting screwed against Rollins because of Bray. He got screwed in the IC title match with Harper that one night on SmackDown. Or no, it opened Raw. But
he had an IC title match?
Yeah, it was when Daniel Bryan was running Raw a couple weeks ago.
I thought that was Ziggler versus Harper.
No, he put Ambrose versus Harper for the IC title, but
I didn't get to see the start.
That ended in a DQ because Bray came out. But I would love to see Dean finally win one. He got screwed at Hell in a Cell. He got screwed every single time against Rollins, to be exact. He's been getting screwed. Dean's no stranger to losing a match. Dean's no stranger to being on the victim end of a screw job. I would love to see him finally get one. I want Dean Ambrose to win this match.
I am gonna have to say Dean,
Yeah.
but it is a very hard match to say
To predict because
it's
I
gonna
would-
be like just
because
looking at
these are two of my 3 top favorite guys on the roster right now. My favorites on the roster right now are Dean, Bray, and Dolph.
What?
Write down what you want to say.
And I do think that Dean deserves a win here, but once again, we could see Bray. It's
hard.
hard to guess.
And we saved
Now,
the main event for
Moving on to what I hope is not the main event, but is obviously going to be the main event.
John Cena.
John Cena versus Seth Rollins.
Do you think J&J interferes and causes?
I think J&J interferes a lot. I think they go for a triple power bomb. I think Cena figures out a way out of the triple power bomb. And if because that just seems like something that he would do. As much as I would like to see Seth Rollins win this match and John Cena to lose the number 1 contendership so we can see something different at the Royal Rumble with Brock, seeing as how we're actually going to it.
I can't wait.
Oh man, it's gonna be so exciting. But as much as I would like Seth to win,
It's gonna be
he's
Cena.
not going to.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
He's
Cena.
not going to. It's gonna be John Cena.
Who cares?
I will be pleasantly and thoroughly surprised, and I will probably mark out really hard if Seth Rollins wins.
I'd like to see J&J return, just like not as like full time, but just like as a part time every so often.
I want the cruiserweight division back because NXT's getting ready to move up guys like Sin Cara and Kalisto. It's obvious that J&J Security, Jamie Noble, and Joey Mercury can still work, but the only thing that keeps them out of the ring is because they're small dudes.
I mean, if you just go back and look, they used to wrestle the Hardys. They give it. I don't know if it ever went on. One match they wrestled with Bennett. They wrestled against the Hardys versus Benoit.
Mm-hmm.
And Benoit, he was. I don't know how big he really was, but he was a stronger dude
Mm-hmm.
in the ring. It's just like
But
we used to have Gregory Helms and the Hurricane.
I want in the worst way the cruiserweight division to come
You
back
had Chavo.
because I want the cruiserweight division and the cruiserweight championship to come back because they're not doing anything with the United States title anymore. We need something that has a little bit more activity. We need something for guys like Kalisto, Sin Cara. We need to bring Rey Mysterio back to relevance
That ain't never gonna happen.
before he decides to retire. Give him one more cruiserweight
So you're
championship.
saying bring him back eventually?
Give him the cruiserweight. Give him the reincarnated cruiserweight title initially, and then use that to put a new guy over.
You know who they'd have to start it off with? Hornswoggle. That's who we ended
Nice.
with.
I hope to God that someday soon they just release Hornswoggle. Nothing against little people, but he doesn't do anything. Anything that
I mean, he really fit
any-
with Finley.
And he did fit with Finley. And once Finley left,
Actually, he's still there technically.
yeah, he still works for the company, but once he retired from in-ring action, Hornswoggle should have just gone away. Nothing against little people, nothing against Hornswoggle himself, but he's just everything that Hornswoggle's done since Finley has been gimmicky and for little children, and it's just not.
But
It's
that's
not.
most of the WWE fan base.
It's not amusing anymore. It's not funny or entertaining anymore. It's just sad. It's sad at this point. The last cool thing that he did was the WeLC match versus El Torito. Now, there's somebody that if the cruiserweight division was brought back,
El Torito.
El Torito would be amazing because he's got a different form of small people syndrome. I don't know what it's called. It could be midgetism, dwarfism, something like that. But smallism.
He's tiny. That's just how
he's just a small dude, but
I spelled it wrong.
He would be an amazing talent in the cruiserweight division if they brought it back. He's really decent in the world of lucha, which I feel like he could really do well. I just really wish he would be pushed better, and the best way to push him better is to bring back the cruiserweight division, because it's just illogical for him to beat other full size, like 6.5 feet dudes. It's just ridiculous. And then you would with the cruiserweight division coming back, you would also have a decent future for some guys that are already established. Heath Slater, Tyson Kidd, Justin Gabriel. They're all cruiserweights. They would, and they're high flyers, and it would breathe new life into the company. It really would. Like TNA has their X division. I would love to see Low Key in the WWE someday, but it's not going to happen. Low Key left the WWE on some bad terms. Yeah. So
just whatever you do not look in the doorway. Don't look. Don't look.
She's not going to stop until I look.
All right.
Damn it.
Oh.
Heel.
So, last question. Do you think we'll ever see a John Cena heel turn before he exits WWE? Or do you think he's going to stay face?
He'll be face for the rest of his career, but closer to his retirement, we will see the Doctor of Thugonomics again.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's going to want to do it again to get that pop. Because he's not going to leave that section of his fan base unsatisfied. As much as a lot of us complain about John Cena, he's not a bad wrestler. He's a good wrestler. He knows what his fans want. He delivers. He gets stale when they're constantly putting him over. And that's
so you think the Dr. Thug, even though it's an old thing, it'd be fresh?
Sometime closer to his retirement, he is going to make one last run as the Doctor of Thugonomics, because he knows that's what we really want. And he's not gonna... John Cena's not gonna leave his true day one fans with a bad taste in their mouth. You know?
Alright, well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I want to thank my special guest, Dylan, for being here. I can also probably put his Twitter down there.
Yeah, you can follow. Well, I suggest you don't follow my personal account.
Yeah, he wrestles in a Backyard Anything LXW. I'll put his character's Twitter below. Deadeye Dylan.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine, I'll say something about it since you had to bring it up. I wrestle as a backyard character named Deadeye Dylan McQueen. Yes, I did train with the Indies for a while, but I ran out of time. At first it was a money issue, and then it was a time issue, and I just don't have the time to go indie anymore. So it's really just a hobby for me, and I wrestle backyard. I know a lot of guys hate backyard, and they're gonna judge, but you know what? Let the haters hate as they like. But it's at Dylan McQuinn, McQuinnBYW for that Twitter, and Devoted Pro Wrestling Fanatics is on Facebook at Devoted Pro Wrestling Fanatics.
I'll leave links.
And on Twitter at DPWF Official, where it's all wrestling all the time on there. If there is a certain wrestler you want to follow, just look in my followers list and they're in there. I don't follow anybody but wrestlers and other accounts that are similar to mine, so it's pretty much your hub where you want to go.
All right. I was going to say something, but now I forget. Well, thanks. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
They're not watching, they're listening.
Yeah, listening, whatever. Because all it is going to be pictures. Thanks for listening. This is Armor X here signing out with my friend Dylan.